Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is the join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that. So former President Edgar Lungu met up with the group of clergy, the same team that had met President Hakainde Hichilema a week ago, and then had prayer session with the incumbent President Hakainde Hichilema. Did the same thing with Edgar Lungu yesterday at Cathedral of the Holy Cross. So these are some of the images that came from that. What is Chief Fatayari makes a statement with regard to what Mao Sampa said. So Chief Fatayari says, Mao Sampa celebrates the jail sentence of Charity Katanga, the former police Deputy Inspector General of Police, and urges the courts to send more of the PF guys to jail, Mukose, and then he laughs it out loud. So if you remember in my previous broadcast, I had stated where Mao Sampa was saying the courts should be swift with the current proceedings in court, which Fatayari also says to say most of these sentences of with regard to cases regarding property to be perceived as proceeds of crime are coming to an end, so we should expect more of those jailings. So further on, he went on and then he highlighted this case to say, watch this case closely. So this is the case in which Savoy Imboy, the NTC president, is scheduled to appear before Lusaka Magistrate Court at 14 hours for the continuation of our defense in the matter involving the alleged defamation of State House Chief Communications Specialist Gleason Hamasaka. So Chief Fatayari says that's a case you should watch out for. Maybe you know something. We'll wait and see how that plays out. But all this was just like a build-up for what he really wanted to say. So he has been avoiding making political statements for a while, but you can tell that he's eager to give his political opinion because everything that he's trying to do on his pages with regard to advising on social issues are not catching on as much as when he makes political statement. So eventually he was compelled to make a statement. I'm pretty sure he's going to start going live again and making statements with this regard. So this is what he really wanted to say, Chief Fatayari. So he put up this article. He says, don't get excited. 2026 can go either way. Regardless of the position you have in government or private sector or whatever business you own, I would advise you not to be too excited on either ruling party or opposition because the political future is not certain. It is a 50-50 situation in 2026, he says. I know the UPND would want to do a shortcut by disqualifying President Lungu, but that would be very catastrophic because that would make him even a stronger candidate. He goes further, but that would make him a stronger candidate. And it will take away a lot of goodwill from President Hakainde Hichilema. So he goes further to say, besides that, it will erode public confidence in the judiciary and they will be seen as a UPND puppet serving President Hakainde Hichilema's interests. Such a situation may lead into public unrest. That said, it is very clear that President Lungu will be on the ballot in 2026. even if the UNCA leaders, the UNCA, that's the alliance that Edgar Lungu has formed with other opposition leaders, are still playing hide and seek on the issue. There is no leader who has more political inbuilt than Edgar Chagwa Lungu in that UNCA alliance or the entire opposition. However, the former president can transfer that to another person if he so wishes. Actually, President Lungu picking another candidate would even make it that person would even make that person and the opposition more stronger. However, trust issues may make Edgar Chagwa Lungu not go that way. I mean, go for it himself. And then he alleges to say, if you remember the situation between Mwanawasa and Chiluba, how it played out. So for his own security, Edgar Lungu might go for it himself. He goes further to say. Anyway, this is not to say that President Lungu has the upper hand over the incumbent Hakainde Hichilema. They are both competing in weakness. And whoever will give people a little bit of hope will carry the day in 2026. I will not discuss this. I will not discuss the strengths of either of them, Hakainde Hichilema and Edgar Chagwa Lungu, because they do not have it. The strength is in the people at this point. What are their weaknesses? So now it tabulates the weaknesses of both Hakainde Hichilema and Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So he says, let me start with the incumbent. In my view, President Hakainde Hichilema has not managed to have a team that is working together like a system to pass the ball from one person to another until they score. President Hakainde Hichilema is still a one-man president. There isn't even a political chemistry between himself and his vice president, Mutale Lubango, in spite of her being his running mate. If you had a recent interview, she is clearly distancing herself from some of the campaign promises President Hakainde Hichilema made. She would come out and say, for me, what I said, things like that. The language is different and clear, and it is clear it's a marriage of convenience between Hakainde Hichilema and Mutale Lubango. When you talk about ministers, you would wonder if they even call each other to coordinate on anything. I wonder if they even have common policies and goals that they are working towards. Other government officials and also are also in this area, such that I wonder if PSs are on the same wavelength with the secretary to cabinet, or they have their own special duties. The presidential aides are kicking in all directions, such that you cannot even tell the direction of the presidency until Hakainde Hichilema comes out on some issue. Then you see them running in that direction, but only for a few days. I honestly doubt some of these guys know what exactly their job entails. With this kind of leadership, it is very hard to imagine that they would come up with workable solutions to sort out the various economic and social problems the citizens are facing. So he goes further to say, the mining sector is still not giving us the results to help with the exchange rate. Government keeps on talking about increasing production to 3 million metric tons, but much of which has not increased the past 2 years to give us any hope. Politically, President Hakainde Hichilema might not sound sweet in the next election in 2026, because he promised a lot to win the elections, to win an election, but very few of those things have come to pass, and he is not able to face the truth and explain why. I can assure you, most of the MPs, they will not make it back to parliament, because the increased CDF has not helped them. So because be nice to us, some of us will Tukamiponya is wanting the MPs there. I can say a lot on that, but it may turn into consultancy, and these guys do not pay. Let me go to President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. He says, the first thing I would talk about is that the former president does not seem to know how he lost the election. He was the man he was the man with the power. They organized the election, and yet he lost. What happened? President Lungu will be contesting an election as an opposition leader. Power will not be in his hands. It will be in the hands of Edgar, Hakainde Hichilema. Does he think the incumbent will be gracious as he was, willingly handing over power to him if he loses, knowing that jail and other bad things await him? Some people think that I just love money, but I am very realistic. And politics need money. Yes, people will pump in money if they are convinced, but you need some kind of capital to stir up that mood, which will make these people with big money come in. In other words, President Lungu and his UNCA group need to mobilize resources, probably from the outside, because a lot of people locally do not have that money. And I am talking about big money, because they will be fighting against those in power. Of course, President Lungu attracts crowds organically wherever he goes, but we need those crowds bust up from Matero, Chawama, Kanyama, such that it scares the police to stop him from going anywhere he would like, and he should, like it used to be when Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition. One thing I can confess here is that those in power mess around with me because I do not have money. If I had it, even your courts would be too small for me. For now, let me just be a fool. Chief Etayari says there. And then anyway, the team around Edgar Chagalungu must start shaping up with credible people, not the same characters that made people upset and decided to remove him from power. For now, let me end here because my political consultancy is not free. And then he says, what about me? The answer is simple. This is politics. I will work with anyone who can assure me of my freedom to speak my mind for the people and make me look after my family. He said, so that's the opinion he's been trying to issue for a while, but he's been dying inside because he has a number of cases in court. So today he just felt like, hey, let me do an article. Most likely we even do a live to follow up on that. But then again, Edgar Chagalungu shocked by a drug enforcement statement. So Zambia's 60th president, Edgar Chagalungu, has expressed shock at the false allegation by the Drug Enforcement Commission that they have nabbed his former driver for drug trafficking in cannabis. The former president says he has never had a driver named Jovancio Matthews Pili under State House or under his office attached to under his officers attached to his office from the Zambia police. He has called on the Drug Enforcement Commission Director, Nelson Banda, to show minimum decency and professionalism. The former president has called on the public institutions to remain professional despite political pressure they receive from desperate leaders who are engaged in attempting to tarnish his name and his legacy. The Drug Enforcement Commission issued a statement stating that its officers in Eastern Province had arrested the former President Lungu's driver and security personnel identified as Jovancio Matthews Pili, aged 53, for trafficking 55 kg of loose cannabis. President Lungu has also called on the media to be professional despite the current political pressure of states shrinking democratic space and reject temptation to allure of making them paid voices and parrot government propaganda. He gave an example where he had called for the implementation of quality education in Zambia and the need not to, sacrifice quality education in the name of free education, a statement that has grossly and falsely been reported that he called for the cancellation of free education policy. President Lungu said Zambia is facing a serious crisis, is faced with serious crisis, challenges of the economy and disease outbreaks, and worst costs of living in many decades. He said Zambia was facing a threat of food insecurity following the drought that we're currently experiencing. He said the concern about food security was so serious that may worsen the current economic conditions that we are currently dealing with. So this was issued by Emmanuel Mwamba, Chairperson of Information and Publicity in the Patriotic Front, and member of the Central Committee on behalf of Edgar Chagwa, Lungu. So that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.
Channel, make sure you click on the subscribe button, you click on the notifications to get the notifications of every video that I upload. I try to upload every week, sometimes every day of the week, but definitely each week you expect a video. So make sure you click on the subscribe, like this video, and there's much more on the playlist. So visit the channel and see you around.